Yes, I'd like now to move right into the focus group panel. This is an interesting format that we try for the first time. I'd like to invite Mr. Sam Barnett, Chief Executive Officer of MBC Group, Mr. Frederic Bonnard, Vice President of New Media at France 24, Mr. Nart Bouran, Head of Sky News Arabia, Dr. Ismaeel Makdisi, CEO of Intigral, Mr. Mohammad Mourad, Regional Manager Google, and last but not least, Mr. Faris Sayegh, General Manager Roya TV. This is a broadcast media, online media focused panel, and we're trying a new format that I hope / confident that it will be an interactive form. Basically, it's the focus group panel. So it is the panelists asking the audience questions. You have in front of you the voting device. It's the little pad that's stuck to the table. Please do not remove it from the table. Keep it there. It can take up to 3 votes. So it's your vote plus 2 of your neighbors. And we'll have the voting questions, the focus group questions. You will get your feedback, and it will start a discussion amongst the panelists. Let's start, cut right to the chase. We have the first. This is basically the vote. Everyone has it in front of them, I believe. And each response, as I said, can take up to 3 responses. So it's your vote plus your neighbors, and you know that your vote is accepted when the green light has been lit. So as I said, we're going to start, gentlemen, with questions to the audience. We'll get their feedback, and that'll be your focus group. So it'll be you deciding, commenting, agreeing or disagreeing with the customers on how it goes. Let's move to the questions, please. These are the straightforward questions. HDTV, high definition TV. So basically, do you have HDTV receiver and HDTV TV itself? Yes, no, and if no, do you plan to buy one soon? Let the voting start. You have 30 seconds for every vote. Please make sure to invite your neighbors also to cast their votes. If the green light is lit, that vote is accepted. أعطيني microphone. أعطيني microphone. Okay, results. 71% have HDTV receivers and TV sets, 13% no, and the remainder will buy one soon. Okay, let's start with the first question. Is this representative of the general population, or is this the elite of Convergence, and therefore they have HDTV in their homes? Sam, what do you think?
I wish it was representative, but our take is there's about 1.5 million HD boxes out there looking at MBC HD channels. So that's a very big number.
Faris? Nart and Faris, please.
It's definitely, it doesn't represent certainly the population of Jordan, specifically speaking. I hope it's not the case, because we broadcast SD. But I hope Jordanians will start buying more HD. I think the problem is HD TVs, not HD receivers. The receiver is cheap, TV is expensive.
Any other comments from the panel? Nart?
I think it's only a matter of time. You know, this is probably HD is similar to when people went to color TVs from black and white. So you can stick with that black and white TV for a period of time. Sooner or later, you'll be buying that receiver, and I think that's going to be the case. But that's certainly not accurate.
What's the dynamic of people switching to HD TV? Is it peer pressure, going to a neighbor's home or a friend's home, checking it out and saying, "Oh, why is it clearer than what we have at home?" From your broadcaster's view, what do you think is the dynamic that allows people to move into HD TV?
I think if you watch HD TV, that you're not going to go back to. It's just going to make a difference every time you watch it. So if you have 5 or 6, 7 games of football, for example, going on television, and your team is playing on one of the channels that's playing it in SD, you probably go back to the HD once in a while and watch it more over there. It's human nature. It's natural. That's what people will go for, and that's what people will start going to over time. So. If anyone thinks SD is going to stay for very long, I think they'll be probably fighting against the current in the near future.
Google, YouTube, HD on YouTube. Explain that to us.
Yeah, I have a couple of comments and then I'll talk about this. Okay, I think the first thing is HDTV is definitely not doesn't have mass adoption yet in the region. You know, if you think about 350 million people, the numbers that you mentioned, Sam mentioned, are much smaller. But the other topic is how many people have access to HD video, which is a completely different question. Okay, so people can have access to HD videos on their phones, on their tablets, potentially on their laptops as well. Okay, so that's one distinction. The other distinction is it's based on the replacement of TVs as well. You know, very soon it's going to be very difficult to buy a non-HD TV. Like it is very difficult to buy a non-smart TV today. If you actually
black and white, try to find a black and white TV.
It's like trying to find, yeah. So eventually this is going to happen. And to answer your question specifically on YouTube, I think YouTube is a platform, is not a TV. Okay, and I think this is probably one of the biggest distinctions that we have to make on this panel. I see more similarities between YouTube and Arabsat than YouTube and the TV set itself. Yeah.
France 24, what's your take?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment on the future success of HGTV. It's actually part of the multi-screen strategy. If you really believe that in the future you will watch the content depending on the quality of the device. Let's say, if I'm looking in the morning at news, I don't need to have a high quality TV set. I will watch on the mobile. Then I can watch during my, I'm in the kitchen, I will watch on the tablet. So what that means is that the TV will remain to watch, high quality event. So what we have is football games, movies, for instance. If you believe this is the case, that the multi-screen is going to play that path, yes, there's a future for HGTV, and those numbers will become true. Now the next comment is about the production part of the HD content. One of the issues today is that there is not that much HD content coming from producers like us. And one of the reasons is the cost, the investment cost in the infrastructure to develop HD content. We at France 24 are actually just doing this now. It took us some time to do that. So I think once you have the HD content, true HD content, then HD will become true.
Dr. Ismaeel, any comments?
Let me just go back to the first question. Number one, is this representative of the population? Which population? Are we talking worldwide? Are we talking the Arab region? Are we talking Jordan?
The Arab region.
Yeah, Jordan is not even representative of the Arab region when it comes to technology. A lot of people call Jordan, and you guys should take this as a compliment, they call it the Silicon Valley or Amman Valley. Value for money. A lot of people that I meet throughout the region find great value in Jordan in terms of capabilities, in terms of value for money and return on investment. So when it comes to technology, when it comes to IT, when it comes to even the penetration and the desire of people in Jordan to convert to a new technology, then Amman or Jordan is not a representative of this. This audience is probably not representative of the general Jordanian population, because this is a niche market, again. So what you see here, 75%, by far is not representative of the population. That being said, HD is probably a thing of the past. Today we're talking 4K. Today we're talking 8K in terms of technology. A lot of people have HD in terms of connected devices, whether we're talking tablets, smartphones, or even smart TV. The problem is, it's not just the technology. A lot of people here, myself included, we have Samsung Smart TV. But guess what? It's dumb. It's a dumb TV so far, because we have yet to monetize and optimize the potential of its smart functions, interactivity. Today, we don't have that yet. We're talking about virtual set-top boxes going forward. We're moving away from the whole notion of set-top boxes into virtual set-top boxes, or HDMI set-top boxes. TV everywhere is probably the future. So if you look at the full value chain, and I agree with our colleagues here, if you have the right investments and content in terms of production, today we have sports content, we have very few Arabic movies or Arabic content in HD, other than the user-generated content. But availability of content is essential. Pricing of devices is essential in terms of penetration. And of course, the customer experience. Once people get used to it, they probably get to a point of no return.
Thank you very much.